Picture yourself standing on a jagged cliff, the wind screaming past, carrying a stench like burned earth. The sky isn't blue. It's a suffocating gray, thick with ash that stings your eyes and clogs your throat. This isn't some sci-fi flick or a nightmare you can wake up from. This is Earth 74,000 years ago, when the Toba supervolcano erupted and turned our planet into a graveyard. Welcome to the human wild, where we uncover the raw, untamed stories of humanity's fight to survive. Today, we're diving into the catastrophe that nearly wiped us out, and how our ancestors, against all odds, kept going. Grab a seat, because this is a tale of fire, ash, and the stubborn spark of human will. Imagine you're one of them, a Homo sapiens in a world of towering forests, winding rivers, and massive beasts. Your days are spent hunting, gathering, telling stories under a starlit sky. Life's tough, but it's yours. Then, one day, the ground trembles. A roar like the world splitting open tears through the air. Toba, a supervolcano in what's now Indonesia, explodes with a force that makes every modern eruption look like a sparkler. Hurls 800 cubic kilometers of ash and rock into the atmosphere, enough to bury the entire United States under 3 feet of debris. The sky turns black, not for hours, but for years. Day becomes night, the sun a faint smear behind a toxic shroud. The world changes overnight. Ash falls like a relentless snow, coating everything. Trees, rivers, your skin. Plants choke and die, their leaves smothered. Animals collapse, starved or poisoned, their bones piling up in silent valleys. The air burns your lungs with sulfur and volcanic gases. Temperatures plummet, some say by 15 degrees Celsius, locking the Earth in a volcanic winter that stretches on for a decade. This isn't a bad season. It's an apocalypse. Scientists call it the Toba bottleneck. When humanity dangled on the edge of extinction, maybe only a few thousand of us survived. Some say as few as 1,000 breeding pairs. Every single one of the 8 billion people alive today comes from those desperate few. Step into their shoes. You're a mother, your child coughing so hard their small frame shakes. You rip a piece of hide, soak it in the last of your clean water, and tie it over their face to keep the ash out. You can't see more than a few feet through the haze, but you stumble forward, searching for shelter, a cave, a crevice, anything. The streams are sludge, thick with toxins. The trees you once climbed for fruit are skeletons, their bark flaking away. Distant cries echo, human or animal, you can't tell. The world feels like it's dying, and you're not sure you'll outlast it. The ash doesn't stop. In places like India, it piles up 6 meters thick, a suffocating blanket that buries entire ecosystems. The animals you hunted, mastodons, giant deer, wild boar, vanish, starved or poisoned. The plants you gathered, berries, roots, nuts, are gone or toxic. Drinking from a stream could kill you. Whole groups of humans disappear, their stories erased. Those who remain face a planet that seems to want them dead. But here's the thing, they don't give up. They're not heroes from a legend. They're just people scared, hungry, fighting to see another day. And somehow, in this nightmare, they find ways to keep going, setting the stage for everything we are now. This world of ash and darkness demands a new way of living. The old rules, hunting big game, picking wild fruits, following worn paths, are useless. The forests are graveyards, the rivers are poison, and every breath is a risk. If you cling to what worked before, you're dead. Our ancestors, though, they figure it out. They don't have books or labs, just their wits and a refusal to quit. This is where the human spirit shines, messy and relentless, turning a broken world into a toolbox for survival. Take Kuda, a man somewhere in southern Asia, not a leader, just a father trying to keep his family breathing. The ash is everywhere, burning throats, clogging noses. Kuda notices it settles more at night, when the air cools. So he flips everything. His group sleeps in caves during the day, moving under the cover of darkness when the air's a bit clearer. But even that's not enough. The ash still creeps in, so he starts experimenting. He soaks strips of animal hide in water and ties them over his family's faces. These crude masks aren't perfect, but they block enough ash to make a difference. It's a small win, but it buys them days. Kuta's daughter, Lyra, maybe 14 years old, watches everything closely. She sees her people getting sick, not just coughing, but feverish, their lungs rattling. She remembers how the sharp smell of pine sap, warmed over a fire, eased her own breathing. So she tries something, boiling pine resin and having people inhale the steam. It's not a miracle cure, but it soothes inflamed lungs, giving them a fighting chance. Then there's the water problem. Streams are filthy, but Lyra notices that water poured through sand and charcoal comes out clearer. She builds filters, sand and burned wood packed into hollow logs. It's rough, but it works. People stop getting sick as often. Her ideas spread, saving lives one clean sip at a time. Then there's Tam, a young hunter frustrated by the lack of game. The big animals are gone, and the small ones are too fast for spears. He spends hours carving wood, twisting sinew, testing ideas until he creates something new, a bow and arrow. It's light, precise, and can hit a rabbit from a distance. Suddenly, a single hunter can feed a family without burning all their energy chasing prey. The bow isn't just a tool. It's a game changer, spreading from group to group, giving them a way to hunt in a world where every bite is precious. Food is a constant battle. With plants and animals dying off, starvation stalks them. So they get creative. They eat tree bark, lichen, pine needles, even bitter acorns they'd ignored before. They learn to soak acorns to wash out the toxins, making them edible. They grind bones for nutrients, burn mammoth bones for heat when wood runs out. Nothing is wasted. Every scrap becomes a resource. These aren't elegant solutions, they're desperate, patched-together fixes. But they work. They keep people alive. Survival isn't about one person's brilliance. It's everyone pitching in. A woman in one camp weaves reeds into mats to keep ash off food. A man tracks animals by their prints in the ash. Kids, too young to hunt, learn to spot edible moss or dig roots. Every discovery, no matter how small, adds up. Groups trade tricks, learn from each other's mistakes, build on each other's wins. It's humanity's first masterclass in innovation, driven not by ambition but by necessity. They're not just surviving. They're inventing the future, one desperate idea at a time. Survival isn't just about outsmarting the ash or finding food. It's about people. In a world where every resource is scarce, fighting over the last fish or the last clean spring could have ended us. Some groups probably did that, tearing each other apart until nothing was left. But the ones who made it, the ones who became our ancestors, chose a different path. They came together. They shared. They trusted, not out of some grand moral code, but because it was the only way to survive. Imagine a coastline, one of the few places where the air isn't choking, where fish still swim and seaweed clings to rocks. It's a fragile lifeline in a dying world. Kuta's group, battered and starving, stumbles onto one of these beaches. They're not alone. Another group, led by a woman named Mara, is already there, camped in a cave, fishing the shallows. In another time, this could have been a fight to the death. Resources are too precious to share. But Kuta makes a choice. He offers to share the cave. Mara hesitates. Strangers are dangerous, and her people are barely holding on. But she sees the kids in Kuta's group, their ribs sharp under their skin, their eyes dull with hunger. She lets them in. That choice changes everything. The two groups start working together. Kuta's people share their water filtering trick. Mara's teach them which fish are safe and how to dry seaweed for storage. They fish in teams, one group herding fish into nets while the other spears them. They share meals, stories, ideas. Over time, more survivors trickle in, small bands, each with their own hard-earned knowledge. One group knows how to spark fire in damp conditions, striking flint against pyrite. Another knows how to find clean springs by watching where birds drink. Together, they become something bigger, the people of the coast. This isn't just about getting by. It's about who they are. In one of their caves, they leave a mark. Dozens of handprints on the walls, big and small, from every group. It's a statement: we're one people now. No more tribes, just us. Those handprints are a testament to what humans can do when they choose unity over division. Even the worst find a place. A man called Devour, a raider who once led a band of thieves, arrives at the coast, his group weak and broken. He's infamous, a killer who's done unspeakable things to survive. The people of the coast could drive him out, or worse. Instead, they offer a deal: join or leave. Devour joins. They don't trust him, not yet, but they give him a role. Storyteller. Every night, he recounts his crimes, his losses, the horrors he's seen and caused. It's not just a punishment. It's a reminder of what they could become if they let fear and greed take over. Devour's stories become their warning, their moral anchor. This cooperation isn't perfect. There are arguments, betrayals, moments when it all nearly collapses. But they keep going. They share food when there's barely enough, take turns guarding the camp, teach each other what they know. It's not blind kindness. It's survival with a purpose. Alone, they die. Together, they have a chance. That's the wild heart of humanity. Building something bigger than yourself, even when the world's in ruins. The Toba catastrophe doesn't just challenge our ancestors. It remakes them. It carves new paths in their bodies, their minds, their way of life. The few who survive, maybe 70,000, maybe less, carry scars that define who we are today. This isn't just a disaster. It's the forge where modern humanity is born. Look at their DNA. The Toba bottleneck leaves a clear mark: 56 genetic variants that every human today shares. These genes are survival tools: stress resistance to stay calm in chaos, metabolic tweaks to stretch every calorie, brain changes that favor planning over panic. We're all descendants of those few thousand, a fragile thread of life that refused to break. Every breath you take, every thought you have traces back to their fight. Their minds shift too. The constant threat of death rewires them. Anxiety becomes a sentinel, keeping them alert. Depression, oddly, saves energy, making them pause and think. Hyperactivity drives them to search for food when hope feels lost. These traits, which we might call flaws today, are their lifelines. They're still in us, woven into our psychology. A gift from a world of ash. Toba changes more than individuals. Before the eruption, humans are scattered, small tribes scrapping for survival. After, the survivors build something new. They don't try to restore the old world. It's gone. They create a new one, rooted in flexibility, connection, and relentless creativity. The people of the coast aren't just a group. They're the blueprint for every society that follows. They prove humans can adapt to anything, not by being the toughest, but by being the most cooperative, the most inventive. This new world isn't a return to what was. It's a leap forward. The survivors don't rebuild forests or purify rivers. They can't. They build a way of life that thrives in the wreckage. They live with less, share what they have, see strangers as allies. That shift, born in Toba's ashes, is why we're here. It's why we have cities, cultures, civilizations. It's why we're not just bones in a forgotten cave. We're the children of Toba, carrying the blood and the lessons of those who survived. But here's the real question: what do we do with that legacy? We've got tech, cities, global networks, things our ancestors couldn't dream of. Yet we face our own catastrophes. Climate shifts, conflicts, crises that test us just as hard. Like them, we're at a turning point. Will we learn from the ashes or make new ones? Our ancestors didn't wait for salvation. Kuta made masks. Lyra filtered water. Tam built a bow. They acted, shared, adapted. They didn't just survive. They laid the foundation for everything we are. We carry their resilience, their ingenuity, their refusal to quit. But we also have their story, a warning and a guide. When the next crisis comes, will we fight over scraps or build something new? Will we be Devour or the people of the coast? I heard about a man, an immigrant in a new land, who faced an earthquake. He didn't run. He rallied his neighbors, dug through debris, shared what little he had. He became a leader not because he was the strongest, but because he acted. That's the Toba spirit. Alive today. In the scientist burning the midnight oil for a breakthrough. The neighbor sharing food after a storm. The kid who keeps dreaming when everything feels lost. Hope isn't wishing for better days. It's action. It's the fire our ancestors kept burning. The handprints they left on cave walls. The stories they passed down. It's the choices we make to keep going, to help each other, to build something better. We're the descendants of Toba, born from ash, shaped by struggle. The world's ours to remake. So let's do it. If the story hit you, drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about our ancestors' fight, or how you see their spirit in today's world. Smash that subscribe button to join the human wild for more stories of humanity's untamed heart. Let's keep the fire burning.